Did you know that a little bit more than 500 mothers a year in the United States kill their own infant children? These are the actual cases of mothers who have committed filicide, or the killing of one's children, based upon arrest records and court cases.
All nurses to the nurses station.
Viewer discretion is advised. We have been reporting on filicide cases for a while, and there are literally enough cases in America alone to do one a day to infinity. But today we go across the pond to a case that would shock the conscience of just about anyone that will witness this particular incident. These episodes are not meant to badmouth mothers, because being one is a difficult job even in the best of times, just as it is to be a dad in the worst of times. But this young lady will go down in history as the worst mother ever to grace the face of this planet, and that is no joke. This woman embodies a term my mother once said. She means well, she just stays sick all the time, baby. You see, this young 18-year-old mother's daughter died because she starved the child to death. And it is pretty difficult to starve somebody. Now keep in mind, she did not starve to death because her mother was penniless, or that she could not get assistance from the state. She starved to death because her mother left her home for 6 days straight while she went on to celebrate her 18th birthday out at the club. She needed time to celebrate her 18th birthday. So if the girl starved to death, you knew it took more than one day out to celebrate. This is amazing. In a minute, we will be showing you the video of where she left her building, as well as the date and time she came back. And in the middle of that video will be cut in a recording of her enjoying herself out at the club she was at while not at home, taking care of the child. I almost understand now why children say, "I didn't ask to be born." I'm starting to understand. December the 5th, Cootie was seen on CCTV leaving the flat where she was housed by social services. December the 5th through the 9th celebrates her 18th birthday at parties and festivals in London. December the 9th through 10th, driven more than 150 miles away to Coventry and Soho, where she celebrates friends' birthdays, not just her own, but friends. On that same time, a bank card is used at McDonald's and other pizza restaurants.
You're watching MNN, the Men's Channel.
The baby who starved to death while her teen mother partied for 6 days did not cry. She did not cry because she knew it was pointless. You see, she had been left alone 11 different occasions months before her death, once for 17 hours straight. Now, if that is not enough to get you Mother of the Year, nothing ever will be. Verfrey Cootie went to a 1990s music concert in the Elephant and Castle, even had a DJ announce her birthday during the days-long outing away from her home. And all the while, her daughter Asia, was her name, was alone in her flat in a government housing block in Brighton, more than 50 miles away from her mother. Now, I don't know if her mother thought that she could feed herself. If she could, that would have been a different tragedy. But this one was something altogether dumb. And Asia tragically died from influenza and starvation after having been left unattended for 5 days, 21 hours, and 58 minutes. 3 hours after returning home and discovering her baby dead, Verfrey called 999, which is equivalent to our 911, telling the operator, "Help, my baby is not waking up," after finding Asia unresponsive, despite the efforts of paramedics on December 11th, 2019. It's hard to resuscitate somebody when they've been so malnourished for so long. Paramedics say after they found Cootie, she was incoherent. That was her mother, distressed and distraught, and her daughter was lying on the floor. Now, the baby died as she arrived at the Royal Alexandra Children's Hospital in the city. Cootie was sentenced because of this incident to 9 years in prison at Lewes Crown Court after having previously admitted to the manslaughter of her infant daughter, Asia, in the town of Brighton. There was no way she could get out of it because the CCTV over there records just about everything. CCTV is a new big brother in that country. Now, a post-mortem examination and forensics test found that Asia's death was starvation, dehydration, and flu, with the overall cause given as parental neglect. Cootie, who was now 19, was housed in a residential block in Brighton for vulnerable families in September of 2019 by the social services after the relationship with her mother broke down. So they did her a favor because there was a YMCA, even overseas, YMCA, housing for single mothers, and they were helping her. Up to the age of 14, her mother describes her as a happy, caring girl who would light up the whole house. But as she grew older, just as teenage girls do, her mother said she shut down mentally and would not communicate and became angry very rapidly. As a teenager, she would be absent from school and was often reported missing by the Metropolitan Police and Sussex Police. And if anybody has a teenager before, or if you've been a teenager, you know this is what we do to parents. At that time, Cootie was placed in foster care for a period of time. Cootie was often reported missing, like I said, by police forces in London and Sussex. So she was more of a truant child. Now, the mother had previously left her daughter alone on several occasions, as I said before, including in the 2 months up to her death in mid-October. So, whether it's Killer Wives, Predator 101, or this particular show, Filicide, under the care of mom. Now, Asia was made the subject of a child protection plan when she was born, but this was later removed, so the daughter was under a child protection plan. In March of 2019, Cootie pleaded guilty to manslaughter. So, of course, she had no recourse but to do that. Now, because of this, Cootie will serve 2/3 of her sentence in prison before being released on license into the community. That way she could do it all over again. In these cases where people lose their child, they birth another child, replace the last child, and it happens all over again. Now, in pleading guilty, Miss Cootie accepted the terrible judgment she made in leaving her child alone and unprotected for such a protracted period, and accepts the lies she told to friends, family, and professionals to cover up her neglect of her daughter and in order to avoid being caught. So the police officer said that she lied from the beginning. She kept shifting her story to save herself. The judge sentencing Cootie, Judge Christine Lang of Queen's Court, said, Asia was alone in that flat for 6 days, less than 2 hours, unable to do anything to draw attention to her plight. She was a helpless child and relied completely on you as her mother to provide for her needs. She said it is almost unbearable to contemplate her suffering in the final days of her life, suffering that she endured so that she could be aloneness, you could celebrate your birthday and the birthday of your friends as a carefree teenager, not as an adult. Now, I have never understood people that put strangers outside the house ahead of family. For me, it's always family first, and that's not just a slogan for me. So the friends outside the house that could do her no good, that won't go to prison with her, came first over her own family. The judge went on to say, it goes without saying that this is a particularly tragic case and then no doubt raises strong emotions in all who hear it. But everyone should bear in mind that the charge I sentence you for is one of manslaughter, it being accepted that you did not intend to cause Asia's death, nor to cause her really serious harm. Now, she goes on to finish off by saying, Verifree Cootie misled government housing staff into believing Asia was with her while she was away celebrating her 18th birthday. Tragically, neither our staff nor our residents heard anything to alert them to the fact that Asia had been left in the flat alone, and this continues to impact them deeply. In court, it was stated that it is unlikely that Asia would have been able to call out due to a combination of learned behavior and her underlying influenza, and influenza being she had the flu. As far as learned behavior, if you grow up in that type of situation, you learn not to call out because you've been taught by your mom to protect her not to call out. For Filicide, this is Charles Rivers. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.